World of YouTube, Devil Sight here. Looked into the case of Mr. Robert Williams Pickton. Sorry, Pickton. Whatever his stupid name is, Pickle. We'll call him Pickle here. Now, someone had mentioned a comment about this guy in the Maura Murray case and talking about farms. I don't know if they wanted me to look into this or if they thought that this guy was involved in the Maura Murray case. But whatever the case may be, I checked it out. And wow. This is Canada's probably worst serial killer. He was supposedly in a jail conversation with a cellmate. Talking about how he wanted to get to the big 5-0 because he murdered 49 people. And the setup and the location and everything else about this guy. So, I had to pause for a moment. But it wouldn't seem to be a pause to you. Anyways, about this Pickle, pig farmer. And someone, like I said, commented that this, like I said, I don't know if they were referring to the Maura Murray case or if they just wanted me to look into it, whatever the case may be. I mean, quickly, if this is in regards to the Maura Murray case, there's no possible way this guy could have done the murder unless he was a traveler. I mean, this guy sure in the hell could have friggin' traveled. He inherited his third generation, as the third generation pig farm, he inherited it. And sold some of the property, except for what he lived on, and I believe his brother lived on. But they had a huge acreage of this pig farm that obviously the previous relatives, ran, hopefully, respectively. Who knows if his relatives could have done something as in nature to killing. I mean, they didn't find, if they were to go through the whole property to see if their relatives were literally serial killers, I think they'd be friggin' amazed at what they might find if they would do that. Let alone, oh man, as they went through his farm. But not all the... Then again, I can't even say they would find anything. Because what this guy did with his part, and of course, everybody talking about, this guy is just a nice guy. Well, nice guys doesn't mean, naturally they're going to be nice all the way around. It's what's in that inner mind, in the mind. You know what? I'll use a perfect example. My older brother could charm the pants off women. He was a charmer. And he could be the greatest person in the world. All up until his other half kicked in. Why he would do these kind of things and why he would switch, on a dime, just like turning on a light. Ping. I never could understand the guy. And when I got older and, started having my issues and problems, due to the fact that some of the stuff he did, he was part of me becoming who the man I am. And I don't take kindly to people that act like maniac, lunatic, sick, demented people that prey on the innocent. It's disgustingly sick. And that's the way I am, how I think and train, and, even to my kids, I teach them about, the facts of life. Everything ain't peaches and creams, cupcakes and rainbows, if you haven't watched that movie. But, you cannot cover coat the world to your kids, let alone, with people like this out there. And this guy, right, obviously knew how to, become a charming guy, or a nice guy, I'm just a pig farmer. But, and one of the things that this man did, it's just, I could just imagine what his family was like I said, and even if they did happen to, bury stuff, and being dug up, this guy even friggin', well, they said it's not proven, but I guarantee he did it. I'll put money on it. I don't care what this article says, because here we got a pig farmer. You can believe that. And what do? If anybody don't know what a pig farmer does, besides, feed the grain to the pigs, let alone just sell them on the market for people to do pig roasts or so forth. But he ground up meat. And it's supposedly said that he ground up meat and gave it to some cops. Hey, here's a package of pork for you. Yeah, that's right. Sorry to take up your day as they're going in to investigate him, or, going in there to just snoop around. And he's throwing them free packages of meat that have grind up with pork and human remains. Insane. And that's the only, and being a pig farmer, you could, don't get me wrong. I mean, some of these guys out there, I'm sure they don't go around killing people, but if they do, oh boy, they'll give you a whole, disclaimer of going out there and buying yourself another package of meat. When you let alone on a cow farm, beef farm, whatever. I mean, everybody takes a risk in life. Everybody's on edge in life, and everybody's got to, keep your guard up on things and situations throughout life. And right now, as we speak, they got another serial killer roaming the streets, shooting people in California. What better place to become a serial killer than good old California? Numerous serial killers out there. And to tell you the truth, and another thing about this case, and like I said, I don't know if they were referring to him as, being involved in the Maura Murray case, or just want me to go over it. This guy, I don't believe, unless he traveled. And like I said, he sold his property, him and his brother now, split the money, but they were both millionaires off the land they sold. So this guy had money, let alone, having a place to murder people. You would think the guy would have friggin' money and just live his life. But nope, he had to bring it and do it to the extreme. And not only that, he was not even, probably 5 hours away from Seattle or Washington State. Yeah, that's right. He lived on the West Coast. Right out there near California. So, I don't know what it is with the West Coast and, all these serious serial killers, but yeah, he was out by that area. And I'm sure he dug into the facts of all types of serial killers. And, what about me? I could be one of them, and, and got the pig farm to do it. Because not only can you get rid of meat, an identification of fingerprints, but what did happen, and who even knows if they caught any more other DNA on his equipment, but what did happen was blood was, from victims showed up in his property on his meat cutters at that. So with that being said, that was what got him caught. So who knows? And it was like a bunch of DNA, they said, on the blade, but it was all mixed up. So you can honestly say some of that DNA could have been back from the couple generations before. And it all goes on this guy's, past life, how he was brought up, what he was brought up into besides killing pigs. I'm sure there was some dark things, but we'll go over some of them right now that I believe is the interest. And 10 was, he was quiet. And they always say, a quiet person you want to watch out for the most. Because them are the ones that are observing you. Them are the ones that like to, sit back, take a look at the scene, and secretly come up on you and do their deeds. He was seemingly well-behaved, like it says, and like I said, everybody thought he was just, doing his job and being, just him. They even said he could have eaten some of his meat, too. Like this guy, the cannibal in Japan. And someone, old neighbor, even described Pickton as a good-natured little bastard. Now, why they would call him a bastard would make sense, or even put a damper on what he was, even though he might have been he was mischieved, because his next one, he had his own private facility to have parties, illegal drugs, and this is where, this should have been a red flag. Because if you throw parties and then he's asking people to donate to some secret society out there in Canada, which all went into his club. So not only is this guy probably a cannibal, a rapist, a murderer, and chopping up people on his pig farm. He's a con artist, taking people's money to run his club, even though he was a millionaire. And I'm sure he's still making good money with his pig farming at that, as you can see up there, him standing in front of a, de-skinned pig. But as you can look at this man, I don't care what anybody says. Picture says 1,000 words. He looks freaking deranged. He just has that look. And I can tell right away the man is friggin', giving you that look like, what I could do to you, right? But he had multiple parties. This is where he lured in some of his victims. And a lot of them, mind you, was a lot of little low-case girls that were, either on the street with a bad drug habit or being a prostitute. And what is it with serial killers and prostitutes? But as you can imagine what that guy did on his time with these women, and then all of a sudden, right, they end up disappearing. La, la, la. And there it is. It set up a non-profit charity called Piggy Palace Good Time Society. And he had up to about 1,700 guests. But, sometimes these stupid people, the serial killers, do stupid things that, right, get them caught. Because they get careless, they get cocky, they think they can never get caught. Which sometimes is a good thing, but then again, other times it ain't good because it takes multiple times of killing to get that cockiness out of them. And the farm, this is what his farm looked like. No junk cars, nothing out of the ordinary. Tractors, the buildings, things that farmers do. But, as the offices and stuff went up, it looked like out of a horror movie. And I don't know why they didn't, instead of using Eugene, the serial killer, which he wasn't really a serial killer. What was his name? Damn it. Modern, yeah, they should have used this guy to inspire the 1974 movie, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. This guy would have been perfect. But then again, he started in 78, so he couldn't have been captured, of course. What's his name was back in the 30s or 40s. But this guy is the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Who knows even if he watched that movie and probably, did take a thought in doing what the movie did. And he probably did. Because that guy was a butcher also. And how they made that movie. In the beginning, there's what you see on the streets. And he said he possibly could have been going since 1978 to 2001. And this is another thing that would indicate that he is not, anything with Maura Murray, because he was captured in 2002. Maura Murray went missing in 2004. But like I said, I don't know what this person was indicating in their message, but if it was, say so towards the Maura Murray case, there's no possibility because he was going through court of the time of her demise and missing. Of course, another part of Vancouver, I believe, Vancouver, illicit drug use. He took his time to go out in these areas, picking up women, probably bringing them back. And disposing of his victims. Not only did he use a meat cutter, probably ground up beef, but he fed the crap to his pigs. That's another thing. Pigs are carnivores. They will eat humans. There was 1,000 Ways to Die. Guy was, oh man. What a sick son of a bitch. Should have worked on this farm. He was having literally, sexual intercourse with his pigs, or trying to. And I think he was drunk. He fell and, did something in the pen. And fell and maybe knocked himself out. When he woke up, his pigs were devouring him in the stomach. So yeah, pigs are not nice to be hanging around with. And some people have pet pigs. Just don't let them sleep with you at night in that bed, boy. Because they will eat you. And yeah, he fed them human meat. So just think you're buying pigs to get a pig party going, a pig roast, and your pigs have been fed human remains. That's another disturbing, disgusting thing to even think of. I mean, God dang it. Ugh. But yeah, he had his own meat processing facility. And I'm sure that's what the family generations did. And you'll never be found unless you're gonna do DNA testing in pig crap. But yeah, that, you don't even want to talk about that no more. And right, unwitting cannibalism. Of course, there's your ground processed meat. I hate to do this to you folks, but they say this is He's said to have possibly sold this meat to local police officers. And yeah, it was, oh man. Weird, strange demeanor described it by an old employee of his pig farm as an erratic event when signs of substance abuse were not present. It is too hard to believe that Pickton found remarkably humor in the idea of feeding his victims. So when he wasn't doing drugs, obviously he had a, weird, maybe drugs made him happy-go-lucky, the guy that everybody thought he was. And when he got him off him, not to be diluting the mind's all clear now. There you go. You have yourself a perfect blend of a serial killer on your hands. But his known victims, I mean, they only got him on, maybe 5. What was it? He claims to have killed 49 people. He's only convicted for 6. No, this is like the other one. Oh, the Zodiac killer. He claimed he killed multiple people, but he only got credited for 5. But as you can see, processing center on the farm, feeding pigs. You're not going to find them bodies unless the bones, were maybe buried. But then again, I think processing beef or pork, I would assume that they got machines that crunch up the bones, right? So you're not, filling in the land with trash. So skinning them alive, feeding them in the pigs, and then, processing the bones to a bone grinder would sound like something. But pretty hard to believe. I have never heard of this guy, but it's insanely to say that we literally found ourselves a real Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Dragging in people, doing their thing, and in 2002 is when he got bagged. And I highly doubt they let him out in 2004 to commit murders, so. But if this guy did happen to travel there, and there's serial killers that travel, but I think he had too much going on out there where he lived, where he had no time to travel. But whatever the case may be, whoever sent me this comment, which they have a really, messed up name I can't remember. Yeah. But they know who they are, and the comment's still there, and if anybody wants to check that out, it's on a Maura Murray video. But I want to highly appreciate them, though, giving me this information, because it doesn't matter if it's old, the person's caught, or new. Stuff like this always needs to be, brought forth to the public. And just like the Delphi murders, they claim that guy's in the beef market industry. Could he be a copycat to this guy? Oh. But then again, that guy gets off on, posing or looking at dead bodies, where this guy just didn't care. But doesn't mean it didn't give him no ideas, especially working in a beef marketing plant, pork plant, because of the simple fact of you're around this all the time. And right, what better way to screw up DNA when you have this? Always. Could the stupid BG gotten an idea from this? Because as you can see, DNA ain't gonna get looked at or even processed right if you do work with stuff like this. And just like BG, in my eyes, could have been wearing one of them aprons from the beef cutting market, just in case he did get blood on him. It wouldn't go and match up to nothing. So that is one thing the BG was smart to do, if he is that person that worked in a meat plant. Ideas, folks. One thing you get from the past is ideas. And it's scary to think that these people, right, continue to commit. That's why we need to beef up the population, is right. You can't cover coat your children with the cupcakes and rainbows. You need to put this information in their heads to protect themselves safely in this world. Because if you don't have a killer instinct, you're not going to survive. I'm sorry. Only use your killer instinct for good, not bad. And if you got to bring it forth when you're being attacked, you got to bring it. You have to bring it. And who's to say? Maybe you will one day catch that. Maybe I'll catch that serial killer one day. Put him where he rests. Put him where he puts other people, right in the ground. You'll never hear from him again. Who would be lucky enough to get that? I wish I was. Yeah, all you dirty, rotten little souls think you can go around and terrorize the innocent. Watch out. You might meet that new boogeyman one day. Till that next video, folks, I am disregarding this to be anything related to Maura Murray, but if it was more or less to put out there, just to put it up on this and make it, known, that's what I like to do too. So thank you for the article from the comment. Sorry, I couldn't remember your name. Wow, you got one of them strange names, but we don't need to get into that. And but like I said, I don't think this ain't got nothing to do with Maura Murray, because it's just, this guy had a real busy life, as you can see. Sick son of a... All right, people. Out.